Hello everybody, this is your Torador's Extended Warranty. Back with another video. I'm staying on schedule for once, congratulations to me. And this is my new opening image. I love this image. This is actually a character that I have cosplayed in the past, and I am quite fond of this character. This is Ichigo Kurosaki from the anime Bleach. And, yeah. I saw a video today, a video. And it was about a person who was talking about how anime is like, how is it that right-wingers like anime when fundamentally everything that anime stands for is against the right wing? And I got to thinking back and I'm like, wait a minute. I've made a post about this before. So, why not make a video about it instead? Well, we're going to do a quick start today, kind of. This is the opening post, obviously the opening image. I gotta love my opening image. And now we're going to bring up this. Now, if anybody knows who this is, and I think that their handle is up at top, and I don't know if it's like Instagram, if it's explicitly something, but you know, we're gonna watch this. And I may interrupt, I may not, because this is going to be part of a broader video, so I am adding context and commentary for the purposes of fair use, but also because it's part of the broader discussion of what I want to talk about in regards to, like, the broad misunderstanding that seems to be at play here. And you'll kind of see the trend of where I'm headed specifically when it comes to talking about this. So we're gonna play this, and it's turned up pretty high, so okay. I don't know why there's no sound. Okay, I'm gonna read what he's saying. It's like right-wing anime fans are goofy AF. Yo, liking anime while being right-wing is like bonkers, bro. Like Goku would hate you. So already we're starting off real fucking strong here. Yes, cursing in the first few minutes. Never gonna get monetized. Oh well. Yeah, so first and foremost, I'm gonna get into a lot of stuff that I posted about. So, and most of y'all seeing this video are not gonna know what I'm talking about when I say posted. But regardless, I've made posts about this before in the past, and I'm gonna cover some of it. But this is just this is what happens when you are ideologically captured, legitimately. And I'll explain why. But we're gonna let him keep cooking. We're gonna let him keep cooking. Goku would hate you. Like, what do you mean, like, ice? What do you mean you want to put kids in cages in front of Monkey D. Luffy? This, God, you know what, we're going to continue because I actually want to break all of this down after the fact because this is legitimately just stupid. I wage war on the world government because they put my friend in jail, Monkey D. Luffy. Bitch, are you dumb? Go, I love Israel. Okay, so you would, so wait, hold on. Okay, so much, okay. You would have helped? You would have helped the state alchemists during the Ishvalan genocide? Okay. No. No. I am going to cover this actually because this is stupid and it pisses me off, but I'll explain why. That's what you would have done? That's what you would have done? That's what you would have done? That's what you would have been up there with King Bradley? Fuck out of here. Weird as fuck. Weird as fuck. Like, when you watch Dragon Ball Z, do you root for Frieza Force like... Or are you watching Gundam and you're on the side of the Principality of Zeon? Are you like... Okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, I think that this is... Oh no, I think it was a post on Instagram maybe. But let me cover this because this is stupid as hell. And this is what happens when you're so brain rotted and ideologically captured, you lack any critical thinking skills whatsoever. First and foremost, Dragon Ball Z, and we're going to go step by step through his examples. Dragon Ball Z is a universe in which space travel exists. Not only does space travel exist, superpowered beings exist, including deities of varying kinds, including deities of life and deities of destruction, the Kais and the gods of destruction. I'm pretty sure that every single planet out there has their own rules and their own laws. And one of the funniest things to me about this whole thing is that the envisionment is Goku. No. We're going to make this more interesting. So the Saiyans went from planet to planet and literally destroyed entire populations to steal the planet from people. But I want you to imagine, instead of doing it the way that the Saiyans did it, that the Saiyans did it the way that the Viltrumites did, which is to go have a bunch of kids, tell them they're going to live forever, have them develop powers, and then subjugate the entire planet rather than killing everybody. And it's like, oh, were you voting for Frieza? Because Frieza's the Nazi in that show. Actually, no. He views himself as an evil dictator tyrant who quite literally steals planets from people and sells them. And it's like, oh, well, the evils of capitalism. No, that's called greed. There's a lot of people in this world who cannot separate capitalism from greed because they're too stupid and economically illiterate to understand the difference. Greed is a condition of human beings. Capitalism is not greed. Capitalism is the free market trade of goods and services for other goods, services, or currency. And private ownership. Your car is only your car because of capitalism. Because under communism, Steve from down the street decided that he needed it more than you did. He wrecked it, and now he's not going to replace it, and the government's not going to make him do it. The government's also not going to punish him because that car belonged to the community. And turns out they decided that since the car is gone now, you don't need a car. You're going to walk 3 hours to work. And if you don't show up, you don't eat. That's the communist utopia you morons constantly advocate for. But I am getting sidetracked. So he uses Dragon Ball Z as an example, but the real issue is the fact that the world government in Dragon Ball Z has its own laws. The world government probably has its own immigration laws. And the Z fighters specifically are quite literally so superpowered that they can operate above the law. And oftentimes they probably do. They frequently enact vigilante justice on people and things because they can. The Great Saiyaman during Dragon Ball Z, guess what? That's Gohan legitimately breaking laws and taking justice into his own hands. And that's what you walk away with. So you're pro-crime. I mean, we know that the left is pro-crime, but that's beside the point. I mean, I'm left of center. I hate criminals because criminals are oftentimes frequent breakers of the law. Not just like 1 or 2 times. And there's this weird justification of which, oh, well, we should overly humanize criminals because they're actually good people. So the rapists, the murderers, they're all good guys, but the people who are my political opponents are all evil bad guys who are beyond redemption. But this person who just raped a 10-year-old, no, he's perfectly fine, actually. That's the backwards world that we live in. But then he goes off to Monkey D. Luffy. It's like, oh, you put kids in cages. Oh, you mean like Obama did? Man, you're black. I don't know if you've looked in the mirror lately, but you're kind of black there, bruh. Obama built those cages. He's the one who put those kids in those detention facilities, i.e., the cages that you people complain about all the time. Again, Monkey D. Luffy is a super-powered pirate. He operates above the law oftentimes. He fought the world government because he could. And here's the funny thing. And this is a video, or I don't remember who did the video that I watched earlier that made me want to make this video. But it's like, the people who are moderates and right-wingers are able to consume media and enjoy media without it having to match identically with their worldview. Just because it doesn't validate you doesn't make it bad. And the left, people who are further to the left than I am, frequently have this problem where if their worldview is not reflected identically in a form of media, they will literally, like, go into a screaming fit and demand a safe space. You people are legitimately toddlers. And then he's like, okay. And then it's like, I love Israel. Okay. First and foremost, let me make this 100,000% clear. If you believe that a population goes up in number during a genocide, you are stupid. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other way to put it. You are stupid. If Israel wanted to literally commit genocide, they could glass Gaza overnight. Everyone who is there would be dead and gone. There would be nothing left but sand and rubble throughout the entirety of Gaza. And that's not what happened. Hamas, an organization who frequently abuses and rapes women, who apparently the people who are LGBT in the United States are like, you know, those guys who behead women, female genitally mutilate, put, you know, gays in jail for 10 years. Yeah, they're 100% trustworthy, and we should believe everything they say. Do you not understand the issue with that? Really? So a right-winger says something that is clearly based in fact, or a moderate or a libertarian says something that's clearly based in fact, shows you an article, and it's like, oh, well, they're clearly lying about this. But the people who literally are genocidal maniacs against Israel, against the West, against and abuse women frequently, genitally mutilate them, rape little girls and little boys, put homosexuals in jail for a minimum of 10 years, assuming they don't castrate them, and who literally, once a ceasefire was settled, murdered hundreds of their own citizens. That Hamas. You're trusting them. You were literally propagandized into believing something that did not happen, and then you decided to superimpose Gaza over Ishvala. And the government of Fullmetal Alchemist over Israel. Dude, just say you hate the Jews. It's not hard. Like, legitimately, you think right-wing anime fans are goofy? You are the one being goofy here. I have never in my life seen such mental retardation in my life coming from people that are like other than this side of the aisle. Like, there are people on the right who are absolutely brain dead. Smooth brain, literally, functionally inept in every single way. You people, leftists, you take the cake. You literally fell for a propaganda piece of Israel committing a supposed genocide when a genocide takes actual effort. If your population size goes up during a genocide, then either one of two things is true. Either one, the people committing said genocide are the single worst people in the world at committing a genocide, so much so that a group of 10-year-olds could do a better job, or there isn't a genocide. They have reduced down casualty numbers over and over and over again. You can be mad about the fact that the war happened, but stop pretending that it's about Israel. It's not. Just admit the fact that you hate the Jews. That's not hard. And if you hate the Jews, you do you. But stop pretending it's about the state of Israel, because guess what? That land was never theirs to begin with. And I'm not going to get into a diatribe about this, because this video is already going to be long enough. But that land was always Jewish land, called Judea. It was stolen from them, if you want to follow the logical timeline of what stolen is according to these people, this guy right here, and people like him, is that Rome stole that land from the Jews. The reality is they conquered that land and took it from the Jews after they conquered it and chased the Jews out. And then they put people on there and called it Palestine. The place that is currently held by the people in Gaza, they're not Palestinians. Ethnically, they're mutts. Just like, the majority of people in the United States are ethnically mutts. Like, heritage-wise. I'm not saying mutt derogatory here, like legitimately the definition of the term mutt. They are ethnically mutts, mixed with several Middle Eastern groups. But the fact that you take the woman beaters, the woman rapists, the murderers, and the people who literally paraded bodies around Gaza after they stole them from Israel and tortured and paraded bodies around cheering, bro, if you ever saw pictures of Gaza before the war, that place looked like West Hollywood or East Hollywood. Is it East Hollywood? I don't know. It looked really fancy and very decorated. It looked like a resort through most of the area. But Hamas has been actively making the place worse throughout the entirety of the time that they've been there. And the fact that people continue to talk about this topic is so exhaustingly stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. And if you were to ever talk about people whose families were tortured, raped, or murdered, they would tell you what happened and you would be like, I'm sorry, I don't care. You and your people and your country are committing a genocide. You're so all insufferable, you know nothing, and you believe terrorist propaganda from some of the worst people on earth. And am I talking about all people from Gaza? No, we're having an intelligent conversation here. I'm making a generalization of the fact that the people that run Gaza are evil terrorist assholes. Whereas the people in Gaza that aren't propagandized suffer under them. As proven by the fact that they mercilessly killed hundreds of people after the ceasefire because they could. Again, there is no genocide. You are literally repeating propagandistic lies. Alright, so the whole Israel is like, oh, you would be pro-Frieza. Okay, and this point, and this is where I kind of get over to another post, and it's this right here. Don't make your heroes do this if you aren't going to answer the question of why only the U.S. And it's a post from, I don't know if this is Blue Sky, this might look like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a Tumblr, Blue Sky, fucking Twitter. It's a weird setup. But it says, Thor crashing a homophobic march is fucking iconic. And then it's like, don't make your heroes do this if you aren't going to answer the question of why only the U.S. And this actually got me into, or this was actually, I found this, somebody sent this to me as a joke. And I'm like, you know what? But this is true. Because it is. Middle Eastern countries and African countries Muslim countries, generally speaking, Muslim countries hate homosexuals with every fiber of their being. In most of the world, broadly speaking, homosexuals are actually jailed and killed. The people in the West are so entitled that they don't know how good they actually have it. Which is frustrating because they don't know what the rest of the world looks like. They are literally lied to and told that everywhere is just as good as everywhere else, and all peoples are equal, all cultures are equal, no one's better than anyone else, and I'm here to tell you that's not true. The amount that most people don't know about history is mind-boggling. Like, people are not educated today. There are people who legitimately don't believe slavery existed anywhere other than the United States. There are people who think that British people literally charged into Africa, rounded up a bunch of Africans, and then just took them. What they don't know is that Africa has been practicing slavery since basically nearly its inception. In the entire world, slavery is one of the oldest forms of, like, currency, unfortunately. And I hate to word it like that, but that's just the truth. The Ottoman Empire frequently raided European settlements and stole women and children whom they raped and sold them as slaves, and they castrated their slaves. They mistreated their slaves because they would go out and buy more. The Africans partnered with the Arabs, with Arabic people and Arabian. Is it Arabian? Arabian people. Yeah. With Arab people. And basically, the slave trade, the larger Atlantic slave trade or Pacific slave trade or whatever, actually was heightened because of people or groups like the Ottoman Empire and Arab people who worked with Africans to increase the size of their slave markets. There are Arab countries to this day with slaves from Africa. People think that the United States is like uniquely bad, and it's not. You are just you are intentionally not educated in reality because you are a useful idiot when you are stupid, uneducated, and angry. But the funny fact is the majority of you think that you're the most educated people on earth. The reality of this photo, the realistic part of this photo, and I'm kind of getting back to what like the end of this said. The reality of this photo is this could never happen anywhere else. Because if you drew Thor going into an Arab country, every single Arab nation would say you're racist against Muslims. Except Muslims aren't a race. They're a religion. It's like, oh, Thor would only come to the United States and, attack the God hates you crowd, blah, blah, blah. If this was actually true, people like Thor would literally just live in the Arab world, constantly dropping down to stop people from killing homosexuals. Because it's every fucking day. The amount that you know about the world is nothing. You simp for cultures and religions that would kill you. And that's the reality of this. And then we go over here, and this will get to my broader point. It's like far-right is often just a propaganda term for a normal person. And this is true. It's like, why are you so far-right politically? I'm just a normal person from 1995. We don't know what terms mean in the United States, and I would even go so far as to say in the broader West, there are a lot of people that don't know what terms mean. The reason that this last piece is important is like right-wing anime fans, goofy AF, I need people to understand something very specific. You don't know what a right-winger even is. You have created a boogeyman of what being right-wing means. It's a meme at this point. Like, the broader right, the people I've interacted with on the right, this is a joke to them. Because you are literally superimposing your ideas on fictional characters. The fact of the matter is, Goku isn't this almighty super being individual who is just the epitome of all justice. In Dragon Ball Super, Toriyama actually had him remade specifically in a different way because the way that the Americanized version of him was presented was someone who was truth, justice, and like the American way, but the Japanese version of that. He was never meant to be Japanese Superman. He was a martial artist who enjoyed fighting and fought to protect what he cared about. He would not be flying planet to planet to basically be like, hey, by the way, yeah, this race of like man-eaters, yeah, you have to let them onto your planet. You can't actually deport them because, you know, they have rights too. And I'm going to systematically destroy all of your defenses. And I'm going to come to your planet using instant transmission every other day to make sure that these man-eating plants and these alien species who want to wipe you off the map, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that they're allowed to stay here, come here, and you're gonna pay for all of their bills, and you're gonna basically let them do whatever they want to. That's not Goku. Oh, are you saying it about immigrants? No, actually. But if you want to put words in my mouth, continue to speak. The fact is, people don't understand that different cultures have different ways of doing things. Have you ever heard of ISAT? ISAT is a term in India that basically says you are allowed to scam people if you don't get caught. Somalia doesn't even think that fraud is a thing. Is it all Somalis? No. Is it all Indians? No. It is large quantities of individuals from these different cultures that have different fundamental beliefs than you. There was a video done by a news organization out of Australia that basically went and interviewed Indian women and men and asked them if they believe in the term rape. 80% said they don't believe rape is real, and the 20% that did were women who said, I believe that rape is real, but if a woman gets raped, she deserved it because clearly she did something wrong. You think culturally that meshes with the United States? And if you say yes for some stupid reason like rape culture, I'm going to call you an idiot. Because you are. You are so indoctrinated into your own hatred of your own country or countries when it comes to the broader West. You don't see what the outside world legitimately looks like and what we could be as a culture. India might be a fine place with people who are interesting culturally speaking, but some of the things that happen over there are atrocious even by war standards. The world is not a safe place. The world is a uniquely bad place with good places in it and good people in it. But to kind of like round this out and kind of like explain why this whole sentiment pisses me off is because people who are further left than me, specifically neo-progressive and leftists, y'all are all indoctrinated crazy people. And that's not me saying that in an insulting way. That's the reality. None of this crap existed in the 90s. None of this crap existed in the 80s. Every gay person that I came across in the freaking 80s just wanted to be classified as a normal person and have the normal rights of a normal person. They didn't want everyone to look at them like they were gay. They didn't want everyone to look at them like they were anything other than just a person. And now that's the only thing that matters about a person is their sexuality. We really have regressed in society where people being in boxes is the norm, and those boxes are the most important things about them. Like, you guys have literally just recreated racism in a new way, and you don't even realize it. Because all I see from your side on Twitter, from posts on Blue Sky, on Tumblr, is about how evil and terrible and awful cis people are. Replace cis with black. Replace cis with Mexican. You believe that discrimination is actually okay so long as it's against people who you deem acceptable targets, and no one talks about it. Only people who are moderates and right-wingers frequently talk about how awful it is watching. And here's another thing, and this is kind of the broader point of this entire video, outside of my general frustration towards the whole topic. Putting your social norms onto fictional characters is brain dead. Japan as a culture is culturally conservative. If you believe that they would actually be left-wingers, you are out of your mind. There are lots of anime out there that broadly are pro-immigration, like proper immigration. But let me put that aside for a second. We're going to put a pin in that and probably not come back to it maybe. There is a straw man that exists of what a right-winger is, and it's mind-numbingly stupid. And that straw man is an exceedingly small demographic of individuals that almost doesn't exist. There's this idea that right-wingers are just these evil people who think taking advantage of everyone is perfectly fine. They are actually, pro-killing everyone who doesn't look like them, that they are anti-immigration as an entirety, like they think immigrants are all evil, terrible, rapist people. And it's like, no. You are literally creating a straw man of something that fundamentally, genuinely doesn't exist. I grew up around right-wingers. And one of the things about right-wingers is the fact that they are more tolerant than any leftist I've ever met in my life. If you were to have a leftist and a conservative, and it was a conservative that had an American flag on his t-shirt, and he was caught out in the rain, that leftist would leave him be and let him there and be like, well, whatever you did, you voted for this, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter what the situation is. If it's an emergency, he wouldn't stop to check on him. He wouldn't help him. He would casually roll by, flip him off, call him a bigot, and roll away. You want to know the fun part about racists? Racists are funny enough, some of the most interesting people on earth. Because a racist, from the South especially, will literally give you, like if a black man breaks down in a racist neighborhood, they will literally get your car back up and running, give you the shirt off their own fucking back if you are having problems, and send you on your way. They will look down on you, they will think less of you, but they will still abide their moral code of helping those in need. Something leftists never fundamentally do if they realize someone is their political opposition. You believe that anime should map onto your worldview, and that anime is actually fundamentally left-wing, and it's not. If you actually talked to legitimate right-wingers, in a non-adversarial way, most of them would tell you they're not anti-immigration. They're for proper vetting. They don't think people should be let in endlessly because our country can only support so many people. They would tell you that they are pro-police insofar as the police actually doing their legitimate jobs. They would tell you the people who commit crime deserve to be punished for those crimes regardless of ethnicity. It doesn't matter if they're white or black or Mexican. You do the crime, you do the time. They don't think people should just be given a free ride because they fundamentally understand economically if you give people a free ride, they get so entitled to the point where they don't think that they need to work because everyone else deserves to give them stuff instead, because they should be allowed to do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and you should be forced to do slave labor on behalf of them. The real Frieza force is you all. You are the galactic tyrants who believe that the worldview that everyone should be forced to basically choke on is that of what Frieza wants. That's the reality. The hero's journey is a very conservative coded thing in modern day. And here's something I've never understood, and it's something I'm never going to understand. I've heard people talk about stuff like free run, specifically. And one of the things that frustrates me about people who talk about free run is they will superimpose minorities on top of free run's demons. And then think to themselves that the Japanese are actually, basically making a commentary on why discrimination against minorities is fine and why racism is great. And it's like, dude, it is literally expressly stated that these characters are evil beyond redemption because, morally speaking, they have no functional morals. It is be powerful, rule with your magic, and eat people. And they're like, oh, well, that must be the Japanese saying that these people are black. And you want to facepalm because you're like, what the fuck do you mean? No, you are the one making that assessment. You are the one making that a thing. You're the one saying that. No one else is. Like, legitimately, and here's what I don't understand. More things I don't get. Why is it fine that infinite rapists come into this country and it's perfectly reasonable? And because of the color of their skin, they should just be allowed to run roughshod in the United States. And I might get some leftists saying, well, that's not what we want. Yes, it is. Most leftists want that. And most leftists vote for it. Biden let in 11 million people and lost track of over 400,000 children, of whom were being used as sex slaves and drug trafficking mules. Let in with people who were not family for them, because during Biden's tenure, or Obama's tenure, I don't remember which of the two, they stopped DNA testing at the border. How is that okay? You're pro-trafficking kids if it makes you look morally good. But what is morally good about allowing children to get trafficked in the first place? What is morally good about letting infinite people into our country who don't believe rape is real? What is morally good about letting other countries empty their insane asylums and prison populations and then send them to the United States because of an old doddering dementia patient got elected to president? Where is the moral good? The media frequently lies to you, and you eat it up like slop. And then we end up with people like this guy right here who thinks that anime is left-wing coded. My brother in Christ, let me explain something very clear to you, because I doubt you'll ever see this video, but I need you to grasp something. Goku is not shutting down the Galactic Patrol in his universe. Luffy is a legitimate pirate who objectively, frequently breaks the law and does whatever he wants to. If those are your definitions of things, like if that second example is something that you think is objectively good, you're pro-crime. And you know what? Admit it. Own up to it. Say it with your chest. Say you are pro-crime. Because whenever I watch anime, I don't think whether it's left or right coded. I don't think of whether it's politically coded at all. And to use your example of Gundam, you clearly don't know anything about Gundam if you don't understand what you said was stupid. And I'll just kind of end with this because this video is already long enough. Political nuance is very difficult to talk with about children. This guy is a child. He needs anime to reflect exactly what he thinks, otherwise he won't like it. And if it doesn't reflect what he thinks, and he knows it doesn't, but he still wants to like it, he will juxtapose his reality and his worldview on top of it, and then claim that fictional characters who aren't real, who don't exist, and who have no interaction with our world whatsoever, and the nuances of our laws and the cultures that live on our planet, it's irritating. But to talk about your Gundam example, Gundam is an example of an anime franchise that basically is war sucks. And the Principality of Zion, whichever you prefer to say, isn't exactly what you think it is. And the reason that I can say that with certainty is due into the fact that Gundam is a very politically nuanced anime, if you actually break it down. One of the interesting things about Gundam is that the Gundam pilots, who are the, quote, heroes, as it were, are actually fine committing terror attacks and killing civilians. Because guess what? If it's a dead person of the opposite faction, even if it's civilians, it's fine because it's more dead Zion. Funny fact about the whole Zion bit, they literally use Zion as a race. And the rebels are actually very genocidal when it comes to Zion. They actually go out of their way to try to blow up a freaking, like, munitions thing while there are lots of civilians present. And the answer is they're just Zions, who cares? The moral of the entirety of the story is that the main character has to morally struggle between hating Zion and learning that the rebels don't exactly have great intentions either. It is a morally ambiguous story about politics, war, distrust, and many, many other things. And you are clearly not cognitively equipped to break it down. And that's not me insulting you because you're black, because I know that I'm going to get, because I use this guy, that I'm going to get accusations of racism. I don't care what color you are. I don't. I grew up in a very multiracial area. I did. I have friends of all walks of life. And truth be told, my black friends are all more racist than I am by like. If I could be considered racist at all, I would be minor leagues. I would be less than minor leagues. I would still be in like fucking high school division. They would be like fucking like pro major league getting drafted shit. Like, it's wild how racist they are. But they care about me and I care about them because they're my friends. I don't hate them. And I don't judge them based on their skin color. I judge them based on their character. And broadly speaking, they're good people. This person is not intelligent. This person is an emotional child who does not understand what the world around him looks like. And this is a common trend with most people who are leftist. They don't understand the world around them. They make a straw man of their political enemies, and it's weird. They'll take an evil race or group in a book or an anime, and they'll say, why are you making minorities look like this? And then they won't understand why that's atrociously terrible. And then what's worse is they'll act like the evil, irredeemable, like in canon, race or group of individuals who are just like beyond reproach are actually redeemable. But their political opponents, no, they're all evil straw men who believe all of the most evil things on earth, and they are beyond redemption somehow. You can't make that make sense. And that's frustrating. Most right-wingers aren't 100% anti-immigration. They just want a proper vetting process. They want economic stability. They want people to understand that if you commit crime, you do time. They don't want to fundamentally, most of them, don't want to ban books. They don't want to ban gay people. They don't want to put black people in chains. Every BS thing that you've heard is 99.99% straw man. And that's just the reality. If you ever have a civil conversation that's non-political with a conservative, they're a normal person from the 90s, the 80s, the early 2000s, before all of this modern cult crap started up. Because a lot of what is going on today is modern cult crap. And if you don't believe that leftists are trending towards being pro-bestiality and pro-pedophilia in the next 10 to 15 years, then you clearly haven't been watching what's been going on. It's funny. Conservatives and Christians back in the 80s and 90s said if gays ever got the right to get married, the next thing that they were going to do is start teaching being gay in schools. Turns out they weren't wrong. Turns out not only were they not wrong, they were so effectively correct that we now have teachers in classrooms teaching people how to be gay, how to be LGBT, and transitioning children under their parents' noses in the most influential times in children's lives. Weird how they said it would happen, and it did. And we're just not going to talk about it. I find that interesting. Anyways, this video is too damn long already. I'm trying not to make hour-long videos, but realistically my videos are going to be anywhere between 20 and 45 minutes long. This one ran a bit longer than I wanted to. Realistically, dude, I don't know who you are. I'm going to just assume that that thing is your handle up top, probably, but I need you to understand something. I don't hate you as a person. I don't know you. I have no reason to hate you. But I think in a lot of ways, you operate like a toddler. You don't know anything about the world around you. You don't know anything about what it means to be right-wing, what it means to be freaking moderate, to be left. You don't know what words mean. You just think left good, right bad. And then assume the worst about the right. And then you superimpose your worldview on top of characters who honestly would probably not like you. Monkey D. Luffy would probably not like you. Goku would probably not like you. Most of these characters probably would not like you. They have their own friends, their own families in canon, and they do their own thing. You're meant to like them as characters. But if they were real in real life, the way that they would operate would probably not match your worldview. And I can guarantee you if I went through your profile, I wouldn't find anything shit-talking Obama about his cages, who those things that he built that you call cages, yeah, I wouldn't hear jack shit about you shit-talking Obama because he's black. Probably. Or because he's a Democrat, which means, i.e., he's on your side. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Talk about the fact that he built the cages. Talk about the fact that 56 people died under his ICE raids. And how no one on your side talked about it. But realistically, you're not going to see this. And I get that. So for everybody else watching this, this is your Torador's extended warranty. And let me leave you with one last message. I don't make these videos to be hateful. I don't make these videos to be spiteful. I don't even make these videos to be an asshole. What I want people to do, realistically at the end of the day, is to take and look at things objectively. And look at things from an outside perspective lens. I am a person who realistically does not fit in on the left, and I don't fit in on the right. I'm a slightly left of center libertarian at the end of the day, and I know a lot of people make fun of libertarians. Whatever, I don't care. I'm a small L libertarian. I'm not an anarchist. But fiscally speaking, I side with Republicans because I understand, economically speaking, things don't go well when leftists control economics, because you end up with Washington, California, and New York, where they chase away the entirety of their tax base, spend more money than they have, consistently have to get bailed out by the federal government, and then they blame Republicans and pretend everything is fine. Quite literally, do research and stop listening to people in an echo chamber. Make up your own minds. What I want people to take away from videos like this is the fact that no, Goku would not like your way of life. Monkey D. Luffy would not like your way of life. Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender probably would not like you, because the Fire Nation is literally going out of their way to massacre people. But at the end of the day, he's a pacifist. And I know you didn't specifically bring up Avatar. Somebody else did in a different post that was kind of harping on the same thing, but it was literally Aang wearing a Gaza flag. And I'm like, dude, Aang would be so anti-Gaza it wouldn't even be funny, broadly speaking, because of what they did and have done for generations. They've attacked Israel and massacred Israeli people super often. The air nomads, smallest tribe in the world. Jews, smallest tribe in the world. I see a parallel there. Not that I think that there is a parallel, because they don't represent Jews. They're supposed to represent monks. But anyone can put their worldview on top of an anime if they really tried to. At the end of the day, just stop being stupid. Stop being a dawdling toddler and look at things from a very objective standpoint, and stop miming talking heads on the left, because when you do, you look like an idiot to anyone with any knowledge anywhere who isn't emotionally captured by their own ideology. All I'm saying, it's fine to be a moderate. You don't have to be a radical on literally everything. And for the last time that I'll say this, stop juxtaposing your bullshit fake worldview on top of fictional characters. Anyways, stupidly long video, almost an hour long. I apologize to anyone who has managed to stick through this, and I am thankful for anyone who stuck through this. I'm still working on figuring out ways to script videos. I need to hire an editor at some point because realistically, I don't have the time to edit my own videos. And at the end of the day, what I want to do is publish content for people to kind of just go, oh, hey, let me try to find a nuanced take. And I'll do my best whenever I'm able to give a nuanced take. That's not going to say that I'm always going to succeed, but I'll always try. This has been your Torador's Extended Warranty, making a stupidly long video about why people are morons. Until next time.